Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope, that's right. My name is Mike P. Raworski, coming to you live from the East Coast, the coast with the most from the co-host with the most, here on the Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, it's Tuesday. You know what kind of Tuesday it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 it's like a treat.
Wow.
Gotta love it,
think
man.
I think I took a tortilla in the eye during the raining tacos part. Yeah. Sorry about that.
You know, man, tacos can be a dangerous food sometimes.
Oh, they can. They are a weapon. Yes. It's a chemical weapon. Yeah. They might think you're fine, but a couple hours later, well, they got you.
Yes, most definitely. Massive explosions. We'll just put it that way.
That's it. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
Hey, folks, I have to be honest. I'm on a bit of a time crunch today, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into the show. Mike, let's go ahead and start with the shout out to our sponsors.
So I shouldn't talk slow today. Got it.
No, you should not.
Let's say hello to our good friends, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels and don't even know it. Well, now you can buy from them direct for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. Please pay special attention, stay tuned to the California 6th Congressional District race. If you want the best in concealment holsters on the market, go to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best field gear, tactical gear, web gear, hiking gear, walking gear, go on over and see our friends at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do them a favor, do us a favor, do yourself a favor, visit them. All you got to do is click on the links in the description to this program. That'll take you to their website. You can see what they got to offer. You can spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them that it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also, if you haven't already done so, please make sure, like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. All right, getting into today's news. This first one is, well, let's just say in the context of everything that we've been talking about when it comes to quote-unquote book bans, because you and I both know no one's actually banning any books. They've been restricting access to sexually inappropriate material in various school libraries. Well, in the state of Illinois, in the state of Illinois, they have become the first state to prohibit libraries from banning books. That's right. It says here, Illinois became the first state in the nation to legally prohibit libraries from banning books. During a ceremony in Chicago on Monday, Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a bill that protects the freedom of libraries to acquire materials without external limitations, end quote, and threatens to pull funding from libraries unless they agree that books cannot be, quote, prescribed, removed, or restricted because of partisan or personal disapproval, end quote. The new law, which takes effect in January, comes amid a largely conservative movement to ban books in libraries to counter left-wing narratives about race, gender, sexuality, and other issues that Republicans sometimes refer to as woke ideology. Now, there are a few things, Mike, that are left out of this story, and if you look at the books that are primarily being banned, and the reasons why, not banned, I'm sorry, that are being questioned, that they're saying should not be in public school, elementary school, middle school, and in some cases even high school libraries, is because of sexual content. So that's why I have as the lead line in our story today, they become the first state to ban to prohibit the banning of pornography in public schools.
Why? Maybe that's just how they roll in Chicago. I don't know, but this is clearly, Craig, being done to further divide the country, right? Did we really need them to say it's okay to have porn in the schools, or was the goal to say, we don't like what DeSantis is doing, we don't like what Governor Abbott's doing, so we're going to continue to drive ourselves down more of a lack of morals hole. We're going to make ourselves the despots of public education here. Listen, if you ask me, Craig, if there's a book out there that I haven't seen said how to cause the new civil war, this is one of the top 3 listings on there, right? Let's go out there and cause our kids to have no morality, right? Let's oppose all public statements and public policy by conservatives, and let's do it in their face, gotcha style. This is just further dividing the country. I know it's about keeping pornography out of the schools. That's what we want. I'm all for that. But Greg, their righteousness is so indignant that they're willing to keep the porn in the schools to say, we don't like you conservatives.
So I think I told you this, Mike, yesterday. I didn't tell the audience this. So yesterday I had a chance because I wanted to pitch a newsroom. I won't say the name of the organization or the publication, but I wanted to pitch a newsroom on the idea that there's more to this. People are going after books than anyone in the media has reported. Because while they talk about it being quote unquote inappropriate, they always focus on the LGBTQ stuff, right? And then they tie it to the DEI anti-racism stuff because they want to try and find a way to get black folks on their side.
Yep.
But what they fail to do is actually look at the specific content, the words and the images that are being objected to. And so I had an editor decided they said, okay, well, I pitched it to their newsroom and I started to get this pushback, right? And I included in the Zoom link, I included a link to a web page that had posted the images from one of the books, right? The most banned book, Genderqueer. We've talked about it. Or the most challenged book. And the editor decided to put the images up, and, do presentation and put the images up. And at least one person was like, what book is that in? And I said, that's in the book Genderqueer, the #1 challenged book, according to the American Libraries Association. This is a book that guys like Pritzker and Gavin Newsom are defending. They're the one, they're defending this stuff. Right? And he's like, well, that don't belong in public schools. I said, exactly. But what was worse was you even had some of the reporters who were like, well, they have access to worse stuff on their phones. And I was like, so in other words, we should be promoting pornography to children. I'm telling you, it was beyond. Right. In many cases, I'll tell you this, there are probably at least a third to half who've never, or more, who've never seen the material that is in question, right? And when they do, a huge percentage of them are like, wait, what? Yeah. But once again, you don't see any of that here in this story by Newsweek. They don't have any links to the images. I mean, dude, here's the thing. If it's not objectionable, Newsweek, why don't you have the pictures on your website? If it ain't porn, why don't you have it on your website?
Well, we're getting because it's not about the porn, right? It's about the control. We go back to it all the time. This is what they want, and this is what they're causing the division between in the country is what they're doing with this. And whether it's porn or or a bag full of oranges, it doesn't matter. They're going to find the item and use it to divide the divide.
Well, you know what,
decides
Mike?
even more.
I forgot. There's one thing that I forgot to include. It's child porn, because in most of these cases, whether it's the text or the imagery, it's images of minors engaging in sexual activity.
Yes. Yes, and he means minors under 18, folks, not people working in a cave. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, and by the way, California has a very same bill that they're working on moving through the legislature, once again making it so that it would be very difficult for people to be able to ban books. And as once again, we're not even talking about banning. We're saying that content is supposed to be age appropriate, and two minors engaging in oral sex is not appropriate for even middle school. I don't even think it's appropriate for high school. And even if they do have availability to it on their cell phones or whatever, I use this example. I said, we won't let a high schooler wear a shirt with an image of a firearm on it. But we will let them have a book in the library with people engaging in oral sex. I'll put it to you this way. How about this one? Would you let a kid walk around wearing a T-shirt with that on it? Because if it's in a library, if it's in a book in the library, then a kid ought to be able to wear it on his T-shirt.
Right. Well, you know the answer, though. The problem is that the people that would allow these books to be in school are the same ones that'll tell you, well, yes, it's a First Amendment privilege. We would allow that in our school.
Oh, my. You know what? Wait.
And they're going to lie to you.
Mike,
they're going to lie to you.
Mike,
Yes.
I have an idea. And we need to get someone. We need to get a youngster who's brave enough to do this, or maybe, who knows, maybe even a teacher, right?
Right.
Find out if you have the book Gender Queer in your library, in your school library, right?
Yeah.
If you do, get the most explicit images, put it on a T-shirt, and say, this should not be in a public school library, and wear it to school.
Yeah.
If it's in the library, what?
You should do that at the school board meeting.
Well, we don't have that. We don't have that book in our library. So.
You're right. Okay. You're right. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe wear it to a school board meeting and have them say, "I'm sorry, that's inappropriate." No, but wearing it to school would be even more appropriate. Would make an even bigger point. Now, that's the problem. See, part of the problem for me is I don't want to expose children or people to this stuff. I want them to know, hey, by the way, this is sexually explicit. You shouldn't be. But the problem is for most people, you can't get them to comprehend that this stuff is in the books in school without actually showing them.
Yes.
Anyway, y'all out there, I've thrown the idea out there. Let us know if any of you plan on or are thinking about, if you're going to do this, or if you've done this. Let us know, because what's going to happen, what I believe will happen is that they will tell you that you either need to turn your T-shirt inside out, you'll need to take it off, you need to put on something else, or you will be fired or suspended. Now, I'll just tell you right now, so there will be some ramifications. But in the end, they've got to raise the question, well, if this is in a book in our library, how can you tell me that I cannot wear it?
That's right.
You've already exposed our kids to it. Anyway.
Yep.
Just an idea.
Do it.
All right, moving along to our next story. Newsom sits down with Sean Hannity. Now, this was an interesting one because I've had a chance to see Gavin Newsom kind of do his thing here in California when he ran for lieutenant governor, when he ran for governor. I can tell you that he is a master of rhetoric and lies. And by the way, he does a masterful job here with Sean Hannity. I just want to play a small clip of it just so you can get an idea of the kind of BS that this individual is very, very good at spraying.
Question for you. I don't think it will be. Well, let's find out. All right. So you're the first governor in history that has had a net migration out of the Golden State. Go west, young man.
Yep.
I lived here by the way, I lived here 5 years.
Horace Greeley.
I was the poorest guy in Santa Barbara at the time in the early 80s. If you look at, I want you to really look at this and explain for the years 2021 and 2022 why Florida is taking in nearly 1,000 people a day, and you're losing 800 people a day.
Right.
They're leaving.
Yep.
Tell me why they're leaving your state.
So we'll stop at 3, or you want to do the whole?
No, we'll just answer one at a time.
18 states had declines in population. California's was 0.3%. You didn't bring up any of the red states that had decline in populations. It's an interesting fact, and I don't see it on here. An interesting omitted fact.
What's that?
Per capita, more Floridians moved to California than Californians moving to Florida. That, I don't imagine, is on one of your 8 slides. Let me take another stab at this. In 2021, California had 7.8% of GDP growth in this country, one of the fastest growing economies anywhere on planet Earth. This state continues to be the tentpole of the American economy. 25.6% of all American jobs came from this state in April. In the last 2 fiscal years, we enjoyed $177.7 billion in operating surpluses. We're on our way to be the 4th largest economy, eat your heart out, Germany, in the world. Number 1 in R&D, venture capital, more scientists, researchers, more Nobel laureates, more patents emanating out of this state than any other state in America. With all due respect, Florida doesn't even come close. Eat your heart out, Texas. California continues to be the dominant economic engine for the American public.
I promised you before this interview I would let you give full answers. That's a full answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I'm going to challenge it.
Good.
And the challenge is this is the first time in the history of the state that you've lost population.
Yes.
The first time.
Correct.
Now, I'm going to give you another sheet here. And this is about income tax.
Right.
Your state income tax is 13.3%.
All right, I'm not going to get into too much more, but the problem I have, all right, so just a few things. Number 1, you notice, Mike, he didn't answer the question. Why are people leaving the state in droves? He did not answer the question. He rattled off a bunch of stats when he talked about the whole people per capita. You know, more people moved from Florida to California than from California to Florida. Notice he didn't say the actual number, because chances are if someone's leaving California, Florida's not their main destination because they're not looking to move all the way across the country. And by the way, vice versa. Right?
Yes.
It's just he's conflating. He's basically, how do I want to do this? He's not answering the questions, and he's giving answers to questions that weren't asked. Right?
Yep.
He's not talking about, well, all the businesses that are leaving California. He's talking about all these startups and how much revenue are those startups making. I can tell you right now, most of them are losing money. There's a reason why those bank failures that have occurred in California banks, because the startups, the companies that are barely making it, the tech startups in particular, they're having to pull their money out because they're losing money hand over fist.
Right.
I'm just like, and the thing that worries more about me about the whole thing is Hannity doesn't question him on any of it. And then throughout the interview, what he does, what Newsom does, because see, Hannity agreed to let him give full answers, right? We know that whenever a conservative goes on one of their venues, they don't get to give full answers.
Yes.
But at the same time, then Newsom goes in and interrupts him repeatedly during the interview. I'm sorry, I digress. What you got, Mike?
No, that's about it. Listen, this is Newsom spewing his lies. You know, you had Hannity did give him his answers, and then when he challenged him and said, "Here are the actual stats," Newsom got to run the interview. This was a Newsom interview, not a Hannity interview, or a Newsom public statement. He came back with continue with lies and misleading information. And I mean, what did he say, Craig? More Californians are not going to Florida. More Floridians are going to California than they are going the other way. It can't be both ways, bro. It can't be both ways, and the numbers don't lie. So move on. Next topic. I'm done with this guy.
Well, what he's saying is he never answered the question that basically net people are people are leaving California. Fewer people, and by the way, more people are leaving California than are coming to California.
Yes.
We've already lost 2 congressional seats, or at least 1 congressional seat. We'll probably lose another one by the next census, or more.
Yep.
The other thing is, why are you not asking about the $30 billion in fraud through our EDD, right? The COVID fraud. Yeah. Why are you not asking about any of that? Tens of thousands of people who applied for unemployment benefits were basically who should have gotten unemployment benefits were denied for no reason, only because of the incompetence of his administration. We've seen homelessness go up. I mean, we have more homeless people, we have more poor people, we have more illegal, undocumented immigrants than any other state in the nation. Our schools are the worst in the entire country, and I'm like, why is Hannity not asking him about any of this? What is the point? He is a failed leader and needs to be called to account. And Hannity I've always said Hannity is like the C- of conservatism. He is an intellectual midget and can't compete when it comes to debating the left.
Yeah, this is not a debate. This is more of a press release for Newsom. It's more of a campaign stop for him. So there's lies, lots of them. Let's move on.
There you go. Lies, I say lies.
Yep.
Well, you may not know, but in the state of Oregon, they've been kind of stymied for a while because Republicans have basically walked out. They've said that, look, if you are going to break your rules, if you are not going to negotiate in good faith, then we're just not going to show up for work. And so the Oregon legislature has not been able to get any business done because Republicans have basically held out. They haven't been showing up to work. Well, now Oregon Republicans have basically come out and said they've been working behind the scenes and they've been negotiating with Democrats to come back to work. And what they've agreed to is they're willing to come back to work, but part of that agreement has to include a watering down or some removals of some stuff from their gun control bill. And I'll read this for you real quick. It says, while stressing that any agreement would still need to be approved by rank and file lawmakers, not a sure thing, 3 people briefed on the matter said a framework hammered out over the course of 10 hours of negotiations includes major concessions by Democrats on bills creating new abortion protections and gun restrictions. The sources declined to speak on the record, citing ongoing discussions. Such an agreement would amount to a notable turnabout for the majority party. Top Democrats have said repeatedly they would not negotiate those priorities in the face of a Republican walkout. I think that is notable. I'm real interested to see exactly what it is that they're looking at. It says under this framework being floated by Democrats, Democrats might also scale back an omnibus gun safety proposal, their House Bill 2005. The bill include 3 major provisions when it passed the House early in May, prohibiting ghost guns or home-built firearms that can't be traced by authorities. Okay, no gun can be traced by authorities, let us be clear. Raising the age that possesses most firearms from 18 to 21, and allowing local governments to ban concealed guns. So I'm real interested to see what in those areas are going to be scaled back.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out. In fact, we could probably make a phone call or two. I know we know some of the grassroots people there in the state of Oregon, and maybe get the inside scoop for them. But it's good to see that they are, and they've been very effective. It's sometimes it's tough to overcome a 60% turnout in polls. You're in elections, but they're definitely standing their ground and fighting. So we shall see. And like I said, we can make some phone calls, get some information for you as well, because we know people in the grassroots organizations there in Oregon.
Yeah, folks, and this is what I give them is that they're in the minority, but they found the tools that they can use in order to use some leverage, and they use them. That's the sort of thing that we want from lawmakers when it comes to fighting for our rights. Sometimes I hate to say it, sometimes you got to play dirty. And those are the rules. Them's the rules. You can't conduct business unless you have a certain percentage of people there. And they took full advantage of it, and hats off to them. Hopefully they get some solid concessions.
Yep.
The devil's always in the details.
Exactly right.
All right, I got a fact for you, Mike.
All right, I'm ready. Give it to me.
And that fact is nearly, I just put 100% in the title, but nearly 100% of all political contributions from fact checkers go to Democrats. Free Beacon review of federal disclosure contradict claims of neutrality of top fact-checking operations. Nearly 100% of donations from self-identified fact-checkers, including those whose employers claim journalistic neutrality, go to Democrats. A Washington Free Beacon analysis of federal campaign finance disclosures found. The Free Beacon reviewed political donations over the past 4 election cycles from those who identified their occupation as, quote, fact checker, unquote. 22,580 of the $22,683 in political donations that came from self-identified fact checkers during that time, a whopping 99.5% went to Democrats and liberal groups. Only three of the fact checker donations made during the period went to Republicans. Top recipients include Socialist Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. During the 7-year period, received 10 times more fact checker money than every Republican combined. Methinks there's a little bit of bias there.
You think? You're right. This goes all the way back to the Snopes lady with their cats, right? Man, we have a story, and it's the Democrats are right, man. But the issue is the Democrats are right. You know, it's all we have with these fact checkers. We know which way they're going to go, and those people that want to see continued lies to be spread continue to pay money to have lies spread. Except for out of $23,000, look like about $103 went to Republicans.
Well, let's see. Yep, about $103 went to Republicans. Well, but Mike, we know this, and we've seen it. You've dealt with these fact checkers. I've dealt with these fact checkers. And by the way, not only does all their money go to Democrats, but they are so unethical in terms of how they do this. Yeah. I've told you the story about how I get a call, get a call at my office, or I don't remember if it was a call or an email, but 6 p.m. on Friday about an article that they're going to be publishing at 9 a.m. Eastern on Monday. And they want to ask questions on a fact check thing. And once again, they went and ran it, and they said, "Yeah, we checked with the Firearms Policy Coalition, and they didn't get back to us." Right. Beyond unethical.
I yelled at their website. It didn't yell back. You know.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, you know, it's. I don't want to say that saying being a Democrat fact checker and being unethical is kind of, you know, synonymous, but it is.
Yep, you're correct. You're correct.
It most definitely is. All right, folks. Well, now it's time to move on to our parting shot, brought to you by Hog Holsters. Go to hogholsters.com and get your Hog Holster today. Make sure you use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. All right, this first one, well, we've been talking a lot about documents lately. We've been talking about the weaponization of our law enforcement agencies and how they're basically using them to go after President Trump and those who support him. And so, as such, we found the true acronym for the FBI, what it actually means. FBI, following Biden's instructions.
Oh, that's different than when we grew up.
Yeah, just a little bit different. And then next we have, you'll love this one. Next we have, Garth Brooks is opening a bar. He's going to be doing music. He said he's going to have Bud Light on every tap, right? Because, he wants to come against the whole,
Yep.
he's a big lefty. I never knew that, but I guess now I understood he's a big lefty. So in his business venture, he's opening up a new thing. It's going to be Go Woke, Go Broke Records presents Garth and Dilly singing "I've Got You, Babe."
I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Yeah, he's out there. He's
wacky. Yeah. Clearly, clearly, I think most country folks I know don't listen much to Garth Brooks. He's more of a pop star than he is a country star, to be honest.
Right, and he became that in was it late '80s, early '90s when that's what country was. It was pop country to get the culture from the old stuff to the new stuff.
I'm more into outlaw country, to be honest. Waylon and Willie. Anyway, and then finally, one of my favorite authors. I've probably read more books from him than just about anyone else. Thomas Sowell.
Dr. Seuss. Oh,
Thomas Sowell. What is your quote unquote fair share of what someone else has worked for?
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Gotta
Although I would have
love
bet
that one.
I would have laid money that the most books you read were by Dr. Seuss, not by Thomas Sowell. So
No, sorry. Well, I have read a lot of books by Dr. by Dr. Seuss, to be honest.
that's true. It's very true. Yep.
All right, Mike. I'm up against it, man. We got to run. So do me a favor. Give that shout out to our sponsors.
Let's say hi to hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get pistol and rifle calibers available in any length. Hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you check out the California Congressional 6th District there. And of course, if you want some awesome field gear, get on over to uscombatgear.com.
Folks, we very much appreciate you. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. Make sure to visit our sponsors. Give us a shout out however you partake. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the show and if there's topics that you want to make sure that we cover. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We appreciate you, and we will be back tomorrow on Hump Day.